Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where the majority of young men have completely checked out of dating, marriage, and even basic interaction with women, not because they're losers hiding in their mom's basement, but because they've looked at the risks, the rewards, the cultural lies, and the legal battlefield and quietly said, no, no thanks. I'm good. What happens to a society when half the population walks away from the social contract that has held civilization together for thousands of years? Stick with me to the very end because I'm going to show you hard data, real stories, and undeniable trends that prove this isn't some future dystopia. It's happening right now, faster than anyone wants to admit, and the consequences are going to hit like a freight train. If you're getting value already, smash that like button, share this video with every man you know who needs to hear this, and subscribe with notifications on because I drop raw, unfiltered truth like this every week on the Angry Guy channel. Also, if you're tired of being financially vulnerable in this rigged system, go check out Angry's Crypto Academy right now. The link is in the description. That's where I teach regular guys how to actually buy, sell, trade, and most importantly, protect your crypto assets so the government, ex wives, or collapsing banks can't touch your wealth. Enrollment is open. Click the link below and get started today. Let me take you back to when I was a blue pill normie, like most of you watching this. I did everything society told me to do. Good job, nice car, worked out, dressed well, approached women with confidence, provided, protected, all that Captain Save a Ho nonsense. And what did it get me? Lies, cheating, false accusations, financial devastation, and years of therapy trying to figure out where I went wrong. I wasn't abusive. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't broke. I was just another decent man who believed the Disney fairy tale that if you're a good guy, you'll get the loyal wife, the happy family, and the white picket fence. Turns out that was the biggest con ever sold to men in human history. Today, I'm going to lay it all out for you without sugarcoating, without apology, and with receipts. We're going to talk about why modern women have become undateable and unmarriageable for the vast majority of men, why record numbers of men are choosing solitude over slavery, and why this mass male exodus is only accelerating. And most importantly, I'm going to explain why this isn't men's fault. It's the predictable result of a system that punishes masculinity while rewarding the worst female behavior imaginable. Let's start with the cold, hard statistics that the mainstream media desperately tries to bury. Right now in the United States, 63% of men under 30 are single compared to only 34% of women in the same age group. Let that sink in. Almost two-thirds of young men have zero romantic prospects, while most young women have their pick of multiple options. The dating market isn't just unbalanced, it's completely broken. Women are dating across and up in every category: height, income, education, status, you name it. The average woman believes 80% of men are below average in attractiveness. That's not me exaggerating. That's straight from the OkCupid data that got deleted because they were honest for 5 minutes before deleting it in panic. And it's getting worse every year. Marriage rates have plummeted to historic lows. Men are walking away from marriage faster than at any point in recorded history. Why? Because we've watched our fathers, our uncles, our friends get absolutely destroyed in divorce court. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. They get the kids 90% of the time. They get the house. They get child support. They get alimony. And the man gets depression, bankruptcy, and supervised visitation if he's lucky. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. The juice isn't even worth a single drop at this point. But let's go deeper because the statistics only tell part of the story. The real destruction is happening in women's minds long before they ever swipe on Tinder or walk down the aisle. From the moment they're little girls, modern women are bombarded with messages that they are perfect exactly as they are, that they don't need a man, that they can have high powered careers and sleep with whoever they want in their 20s and then settle down with a high value man in their 30s, like flipping a switch. Instagram, TikTok, Hollywood, their mothers, their professors, everyone lies to them. You go, girl, have fun, ride the carousel. You're a queen. You deserve the best. So they do. They spend their prime years, the years when they are at maximum sexual market value, giving their best to the top 10 to 15% of men. Chads, Tyrones, athletes, musicians, drug dealers with abs, whoever gives them that emotional roller coaster and excitement. These women rack up body counts in the dozens or hundreds, thinking there will always be a greater fool waiting when they're ready to cash in their fun years for the stable provider. Newsflash, those greater fools are waking up. Men with options have always had options. What's new is that average men now have information. We have forums. We have YouTube channels like this one. We have data. We have each other's stories. We can see the pattern clear as day. The sweet, innocent girl you meet at 30 with only 3 past partners. Yeah, right. Who suddenly turns into a completely different person the moment you put a ring on her finger or she pops out a kid. We see the dual mating strategy playing out in real time. Women want the exciting bad boy for passion and genes, then they want the stable nice guy to pay for the consequences. But here's the problem: nice guys aren't stupid anymore. We're not lining up to raise Chad's kids while getting starfish sex once a month if we're lucky. We're not signing up for 18 years of financial servitude with a 50% plus chance of losing everything on her whim because she got bored or fell out of love. Code for found someone more exciting. Let me tell you about my buddy Mark. Good dude, solid job as an engineer, 6'1", fit, funny, the whole package. Met a girl at 31 who seemed perfect. Teacher, claimed only 2 previous partners, talked about wanting family and traditional values. They got married within 2 years. 2 kids in 3 years. Then year 8 rolls around, and suddenly she's unhappy, files for divorce, takes the kids, takes half his retirement, gets $4,200 a month in child support and alimony. And Mark gets to see his kids 4 days a month while living in a studio apartment and working 70 hours a week to pay for her new life. 6 months later, she's on Instagram, living her best life in Mexico with the kids while dating some tattooed personal trainer. Mark, he's suicidal and broke. Multiply that story by millions. This is the reality women have created for themselves, and now they're shocked, I tell you, that men don't want to play anymore. They're making these confused TikToks crying, "Where have all the good men gone?" While they sit in their empty apartments with their wine and their cats and their 3 kids from 3 different fathers, wondering why Prince Charming hasn't arrived to rescue them from the consequences of their own choices. The irony is delicious. These same women spent their 20s rejecting perfectly good men for not being 6 feet tall or making 6 figures or having the right jawline. They called these men creeps for approaching them in the gym, or creeps for sending it a polite message on dating apps, or creeps for existing while being shorter than 5 feet 10 inches. Now these women hit 35, their eggs are drying up faster than the Sahara. Their looks are fading, and suddenly those same men they rejected are supposed to come running with a ring in gratitude for the privilege of raising another man's child. Hard pass. And don't give me that not all women nonsense. Yes, there are unicorns out there, traditional low body count, feminine women who actually value family and loyalty, but they're rarer than honest politicians, and most of them are already taken by 25 by men who found them early. The rest? They're swimming in an ocean of red flags, wearing gasoline underwear, playing with matches. Let's talk about what feminism has actually accomplished. It told women they could have it all: career, independence, endless casual sex, and then the perfect family whenever they felt like it. what it didn't tell them. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. Is that biology doesn't negotiate women's fertility peaks in their early 20s and falls off a cliff after 30. Men's value increases with age, resources, and status. The sexual marketplace is brutal in its honesty. Women have a narrow window of maximum power. Men have decades. So while women were busy finding themselves and building their career and living their truth by sleeping with half the city, men were building businesses, getting jacked, stacking money, and learning game. Now the tables have turned completely, and women are experiencing the harsh reality of their own propaganda. They're lonely, depressed, medicated, and childless in unprecedented numbers. Over 50% of women under 30 are on psychiatric medication. Female happiness has been declining steadily since the 1970s, despite having more rights and freedom than any women in human history. Suicide attempts among young women have tripled. They're having less sex than any generation in recorded history, despite having more partners earlier. Why? Because hypergamy doesn't care about your feelings. Women are wired to want the best possible man they can get. When you flood the market with options through dating apps that let them access the top tier men constantly, average men become invisible. These women get pumped and dumped by the same small pool of attractive men for years, thinking they're in relationships when they're actually just part of a rotation. Then, when the wall hits and those top men move on to younger models, these women have nothing left but their cats and their wine and their boss babe delusions. Meanwhile, men are discovering something revolutionary, Shajin Peace. We're discovering that being single is actually pretty great when you're not simping. We have our money, our time, our freedom, our hobbies, our brothers. We go to the gym, we build businesses, we travel, we play video games without guilt. We sleep diagonally across the bed. We don't have to deal with endless drama and criticism and emotional terrorism. The red pill knowledge has spread like wildfire because it's true. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Millions of men are waking up every day to the reality of female nature, the corruption of family court, the lies of society, and they're choosing themselves for the first time in their lives. This is men walking away. And it's beautiful, and women hate it. They absolutely despise the fact that men have finally discovered something better than being their emotional tampon and walking ATM. They're making video after video screaming, men going their own way is a hate movement, while completely ignoring the fact that we didn't leave because we hate women. We left because we finally started loving ourselves more than we love the idea of a woman who doesn't exist. Let's keep it real for a second. The anger you feel right now, that's healthy. That's the sound of decades of programming cracking. That's the sound of a man waking up from the matrix I was angry to. Hell, I'm still angry sometimes. But anger is just fuel. The question is what you do with it. You can let it burn you alive, or you can use it to forge something unbreakable. Let me tell you about another brother I know. We'll call him James. James was the ultimate beta provider. Married his college sweetheart at 25, thought he'd won the lottery. She was cute, said all the right things, posted Bible verses on Instagram. The whole package. He worked his ass off, paid for her master's degree, supported her finding herself phase where she quit 3 jobs in 2 years because the vibe wasn't right. He paid for the $60,000 wedding, the $400,000 house, the two luxury SUVs, the annual girls' trips to Tulum. Then one day, he comes home early from work and finds her in their bed with her CrossFit coach. Not just once, this had been going on for 18 months. She cries, says she's confused, blames him for working too much, says he was never emotionally available. All the greatest hits. Files for divorce the next week. Takes the house, takes primary custody because mothers are more important. Takes half his 401k, takes $5,800 a month in combined support payments. James now lives in a one-bedroom apartment with a futon and a 55-inch TV he bought used off Facebook Marketplace. He sees his daughters every other weekend and has to listen to them talk about mommy's new friend Derek, who has a boat, the same woman who said divorce is for quitters and I'll never be like my mother, destroyed a man's life because she got tingles for a guy with tribal tattoos and a man bun. This isn't rare. This is Tuesday. This is why when women scream, "Where are all the good men?" the answer is, we're right here. We're the ones you ignored at 23 because we weren't tall enough or rich enough or dangerous enough. We're the ones you friend zoned because we were too nice. We're the ones you called boring because we wanted commitment instead of situationships. We watched you chase the worst possible men for a decade. And now that you're done riding the carousel, you want us to line up like good little soldiers to clean up your mess? No, we're done. We're building gyms in our garages. We're stacking crypto. We're traveling to countries where women still smile. When a man walks into a room, we're forming brotherhoods that actually have our backs. We're becoming the men we always should have been for ourselves. And the best part? We're happier than we've ever been. Study after study now shows that single men are happier, healthier, live longer, have more disposable income, report higher life satisfaction, and have more sex than married men. Married men have the same happiness levels as single women, which is to say, miserable. The only group happier than single men? Married women. Because they get the benefits of a husband's resources, protection, and emotional labor while giving back as little as possible. Marriage has become the worst investment a man can make in 2025. You sign a contract where she can break the terms at any time for any reason, take half your shit, take your kids, destroy your reputation with a single phone call, and you get what exactly? Obligation sex twice a month if you beg hard enough, constant criticism about how you load the dishwasher, walking on eggshells so you don't trigger her anxiety. I'd rather be waterboarded. Now, let's talk about dating apps for a minute because this is where the delusion reaches comedy levels. Women on dating apps have turned rejection into an Olympic sport. The average man has to send out 50 to 100 messages to get one or two responses, and those responses are usually one-word answers or ghosting. Meanwhile, the average woman is drowning in attention, hundreds of likes in hours, endless options, ego strokes on demand. But here's what they don't tell you: 80% of women are competing for the same top 10 to 20% of men. The data from Tinder's own internal reports that got leaked years ago showed that the top 1% of men get 16% of all female attention. The top 10% get nearly 60%. The bottom 80% of men, they're fighting over digital scraps. So women sit there swiping only on the 6'4" doctors with perfect jawlines who ride motorcycles and rescue puppies, then wonder why they're single. They match with Chad. He pumps and dumps them for 6 months while dating 5 other girls. And then they cry about how all men are trash, while completely ignoring the hundreds of decent men they swiped left on because his height said 5 feet 9 inches instead of 5 feet 10 inches. These apps have destroyed female humility. They've created a generation of women who genuinely believe they deserve a man who is taller, richer, fitter, funnier, and more successful than 99% of men, while offering nothing but a used up body, debt, and an attitude problem in return. And when reality finally hits, when they're 36, divorced with 2 kids and a cat named Chardonnay, wondering why their inbox is suddenly empty, that's when the coping begins. That's when you see articles. Why are men so intimidated by strong, independent women? Translation: why won't men date boss babe single mothers who hate them? That's when you get the podcast. Men need to step up and be providers again. Translation: men need to come back and pay for my bad decisions. That's when you get the viral TikToks. I'm 38 and I still look 25. Where are all the good men hiding? Ma'am, you look like a leather purse that's been left in the sun, and the good men are hiding from you specifically. The wall is undefeated, it always collects. I want every man watching this to understand something profound. Your value as a man is just beginning to rise. If you're under 40, focused on your mission, lifting weights, stacking money, and refusing to simp, you are entering your prime while most women are exiting theirs. This is the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And it's not from boomers to millennials. It's from women in their 20s who had all the power to women in their 40s who have none. And from thirsty beta males who gave everything away to red pill men who give nothing away for free. We are watching the collapse of female sexual power are in real time. And it's only going to get worse for them. Birth rates are crashing through the floor. In South Korea, women have decided that even the top tier men there aren't good enough, so the fertility rate is 0.72, meaning their entire society will be half its current size. In one generation, Japan is already dying. Europe is importing third world men because their own men have checked out. America is following right behind. Women thought they could opt out of the old deal. No sex before marriage, loyalty, submission, respect, and still get all the benefits. They thought they could sleep around, delay marriage, focus on career, and then flip a switch at 35 and get the high value man they rejected at 25. Biology said no. Men said no. And now reality is saying no every single day. And let me paint you a picture of what's coming in the next 10 to 15 years. You're going to see millions of women in their late 30s and 40s completely alone, surrounded by cats and wine boxes, posting desperate videos about how age is just a number and real men love single mothers. You're going to see the rise of government programs to support all these independent women who suddenly can't pay their bills when the child support runs out. You're going to see articles blaming men for failing to launch, while completely ignoring the fact that we just launched away from them. You're going to see the passport bro movement explode as men discover that for the price of one date with an entitled American woman, they can fly to Colombia and date 10 feminine traditional women who actually like men. You're going to see sperm banks run dry because women decided they don't need men until they're 40 and then discover that even science can't fully replace a father. You're going to see the most massive regret wave in recorded human history. And the best part? Men won't care. We'll be too busy living our best lives. We'll be in Thailand with our 25-year-old girlfriends who cook us dinner and give us massages without being asked. We'll be in Medellin building businesses with brothers who actually show up. We'll be in the gym getting jacked at 45 while our married friends are getting fat and depressed, paying for kids who hate them. This is the future. This is men walking away, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. What did you think about all this, brothers? Do you agree that we're watching the greatest male awakening in history, or do you think there's still hope for Western women to turn this around? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Like the video if this fired you up, smash our subscribe if you're new here and want more raw truth like this every week. Share this with every man who needs to hear it before he makes the biggest mistake of his life. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. Cheers.